What's up guys, welcome back to episode 10 of It's Expensive, but Is It Good? Today we're taking a look at Biker Mice from Mars on the Super Nintendo, released by Konami, December of 1994. With it basically coming out in 95, it's one of those later releases that can be uncommon, especially with its original box. While the card itself holds a pretty impressive value of $70 to $80, when you include the box and the manual, you're looking at $400 plus, which is pretty crazy considering the cost of a modern console. But of course we know it's expensive. The question to answer is it good? To start off with a bit of background here, Biker Mice from Mars was a pretty short-lived animated series that debuted in 1993, and it lasted 3 seasons, ending February of 96. We follow 3 rock and roll alien motorcycle riding mice. Biker Mice from Mars came out during the whole anthropomorphic phase. It was followed by many others with little to brief success, like SWAT Cats, Bucky O'Hare, Street Sharks, Cyborgs, and of course we have to mention Battletoads. But the most prevalent group to still stick around were the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But today the spotlight is on 3 mice, Throttle, Vinny, and Moto. Plus these few other ugly and unappealing guys. First impression wise, the sprite art is nice and there's a lot moving around smoothly. As we get deeper into the game, it's actually surprising just how fast you can go once you know how. Rock on! Biker Mice from Mars is the only game that's pretty much made me want to erase my entire script after just playing it for a couple more hours. If anybody happened to walk by while you're playing, it's a decent looking game. The colors are vibrant with great contrast, the music is quite good with the rock and roll themes that you'd be hoping for, and the Super Nintendo does it well too. The console can do a great job with electric guitars and thumping bass, especially with an experienced developer like Konami. Isometric racers like this can simply be hit or miss. The perspective alone is enough to turn some players away, especially if you are playing one with shitty visibility or a lack of proper heads-up for turns. Naturally it takes some time to get used to tracks, but to be honest, since the turns are always at 90-degree angles and the pointing hand easily gives you more than just a split moment to react, the courses don't usually feel terribly unfair. Plus there's a map in the bottom left, so you can know what to expect. The first colossal and annoying issues, though, come in the form of ridiculously rubber bandy computers. After the first lap is completed, all hell breaks loose. Everybody gets access to their weapons, and each lap grants an item. Between the earthquakes, power stars, timers, and all of those annoying projectiles, you're gonna realize just how exhilarating and rage-inducing of a game Biker Mice from Mars can be. As you're learning how to play, it can feel straight up impossible to hold a lead. And as you're getting past, you're often in for a world of hurt. The game is self-aware of its challenge. That's why you can buy upgrades for your bikes in order to help give you a chance. I spent my first 90 minutes with the game getting through its normal mode, which consists of 5 rounds, 5 races each. The 5 environments are essentially the same every round, in the same order, with the occasional swapped color palette. But as you can imagine, each round has tougher, more dangerous races, plus your opponents get more challenging as well. When I was playing with Throttle, the leader of the bike mice, with a well-balanced bike, I had to rely not only on racing my best, but timing the pass in combination with a pivotal, overpowered item like the Earthquake or Time Stopper. If I made this move too early, I can't tell you how many times I went from 6th to 1st back to 6th, yo-yoed back and forth, sometimes multiple times in the same race. Fortunately, you do have 5 laps, and they're not usually very long, ranging from around 15 to 25 seconds, 30-something at the longest. The extreme swings in placement over those 5 laps is important to keep in mind, as you'll often feel like throwing your controller through the TV by lap 3. With how quickly you can shoot up the ranks just to immediately get dragged back down and left in the dust, it often leaves you confused, laughing, or pissed off, and wondering what else you can do. Although every place gives you at least some prize money, it takes forever to upgrade your engine with low placements. But it's hard to not get last when you need engine upgrades. It's kind of a catch-22. It leaves you to wonder, if I use my 6th place Quake to get up there, just to get shat on until I'm in 6th again, it took me a couple rounds to think, we can only hold one item at a time, what else can we do? Since one item often can't do it alone, I need to be holding a great item for almost the whole lap, use it right before crossing the line so we can immediately double dip for another low place item. And back-to-back big items is enough to help you get yourself up there with a chance for some much needed points and cash. You need to achieve 3rd in the overall rank in order to advance in the next round. If you want access to the 6th round, you need to complete the hard mode. Hard mode felt so intensely unfair that I spent the first hour playing the first round over and over again, stacking chump change and barely hanging in there mentally until 2 engine upgrades. Then it felt like I could finally compete. Biker Mice from Mars is a great reminder just how important it can be to read a game manual first. A lot of older games do an alright job of not making that a requirement, but there's a bit more going on here. It took me until a few rounds into hard before I knew about power slides. As crazy as that sounds, I kid you not, sometimes it felt like it didn't even matter though. It was often like my bit of additional speed just made everybody a bit faster. If I managed to pair a couple quakes, timers, stars, or any combination of the 3, it always felt like a matter of time until I was zapped from behind and sacked again. They know their game is frustrating. Round 5 is aptly named Rage Hard. They knew exactly what they were doing. I hate to admit and partially regret that I spent overall a few hours getting through the 6 rounds on hard mode. There was a lot of grinding and gritty battling with so many disappointing finishes, paired with heart-pounding victories, and the hard mode exclusive round 6 took over an hour itself, with that hour of play being split by me going to bed, barely restraining from swinging that controller by its cord into the wall. Hard mode absorbed so much focus, a surprising amount of time, and honestly too much frustration. So, after just an astonishing amount of seeing this final Grand Prix slip through my fingers time and time again, with infuriating event after infuriating event, you could imagine my relief when I was finally high enough to qualify to beat round 6. But you want to know the sickest thing of all? The relief was short-lived and immediately replaced with horror, as beating hard mode wasn't the end of the game. You unlock super hard mode. To be honest with you, I was kind of mentally distraught. As things get really difficult in this game, it just starts to feel like a crapshoot, and I wasn't ready to go through all this again. The plan was just to try a couple different racers for experience and footage sake, and was probably going to wrap things up after that. Let's just say it wasn't really going well, but there was a racer that I always imagined would be a complete disaster to control, Limburger, with a 5 top speed and maxed out acceleration, but with a butt-licking 1 for grip. I figured he'd be sliding all over the place and unable to make these constant turns, especially as things get so out of control with all the bumping, but Limburger has a different type of power slide than everybody else. You have to press R twice while holding your D-pad during a turn. Even though his grip is apparently awful, he actually pivots around turns, and since he's so fast with maxed out acceleration, it's like you're hardly even punished for making bad turns. And the biggest discovery of all is realizing you don't have to be going around turns to get the power slide boost at all. This is a complete game changer. If you're just pressing back and forth on the D-pad as you constantly tap R, you and your ship are cracked, speeding through courses in a way that you've never seen, and for me, never could have even imagined. Now, it can be tricky to maintain that odd rhythm and button pressing to continue the aggressive and blistering pace that you're capable of, but as mentioned, there's hardly any risk of trying to go absolutely bonkers with the boost. Since you have the top acceleration and can boost out of a crash, I mean, there's hardly anything out here to stop you. Don't get me wrong, super hard is still super hard, it can still be cheap as crap. It can be hard to get through the pack when they're all shooting at you and dropping their turds, but it's amazing, absolutely amazing to see the distance you can put between yourself and the rest of the pack, even on super hard when things are going well. To have struggled for hours scraping together my pennies for upgrades in order to have a chance just to switch characters, tap R nonstop, and rock the D-pad, leaving everybody in the dust, I guess you could say the feeling is very bittersweet. It feels like I'm cheating, as if there's something to feel bad about. But I'm not, this is just a character in the game, and in a twisted way, this actually feels like sweet vengeance. For so long, it felt like frontrunners of the pack could simply pull away at will, even with a well-upgraded engine. Then all of a sudden, we have a machine that doesn't only keep up, but completely bury the competition. This right here, quite literally, flipped the script. So, to answer the question, Biker Mice from Mars, it's expensive, but is it good? No, I wouldn't say it's good, I'd say it's, at best, pretty okay. I could totally understand the music, solid graphics, and the satisfaction that comes with actually winning could make people like this game because there's fun to be had here. But to sit back and actually lump this in with other good games, you could say I'm hesitant to do that. It's hard to not have at least a little bit of fun with just about any racing game, even if it's insanely frustrating or unfair in other ways. So if you get the chance, try it out, let me know what you think. Have you gotten through Biker Mice from Mars before? What are some of your memories with it? Thanks again so much for watching, you guys. I look forward to seeing you for the next episode, and hope you all have a great rest of your day.